Happy New Year. I hope you had an amazing holiday season. And I hope all of the New Year's resolutions that you made are fun. Like, I want to start reading more books, or I want to read the Wikipedia page for every country. So you do like one a day, one or two a day. I don't know, like a fun one. I don't know. I'm not your boss. You know how these videos go. These are the books that I'm excited to read. And because it's the beginning of the year, they skew more towards the first half of the year. I'll probably make another one of these videos in about June-ish. Shall we start with science fiction? I think let's start with the sci-fi books. The first science fiction book I'm really excited for is a book called Toxic, and this comes out in March. Look, it feels like I have to read a book like this every year. One day, one of them will be good. One day. I don't know, maybe it's this one. This is the hook. This is what hooked me, okay? Emerging into their new world, eyes wide with wonder at every new experience, the truth soon becomes clear. Excuse me? Yeah, yes. Call me in. I'm excited. I love a good, like, weird mystery. Those are buzzwords that, like, get me going. There's, like, a virus of some sort also, you know, hence toxic. And then in April, Ghost Station comes out. Ghost Station, I saw this and I was like, yep, this is from S.A. Barnes, who wrote Dead Silence. Great book. That was a great book. I agree with everybody else about the ending. The ending was like not great. I do remember the experience of skimming towards the end and thinking, this should have ended. But everything else, my journey reading that book, that was such a great, fun reading experience. This was like, you know, instant borrow. Like nobody gave me those same feelings of dread and intrigue and like actual fear, being afraid for the characters in the book, and the setting in a science fiction setting as well. Oh my god, I love that. This is apparently set on a planet. The other one was set on like a ship in space or something. This one is set on a planet. I'm excited. Oh my god. Then we have Service Model, and this comes out in June. Who is this by? Oh, this is by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I have never read an Adrian Tchaikovsky book. Is that how you say this man's name? Tchaikovsky, it is. Okay. I've never read a book by this author. This might be my first one. I am planning on doing a video where I try and read The Children of Whatever, the first book, just to see what the fuss is about, because this is a very popular science fiction author. And I've never read any of his books, and I think that's weird. I think that's weird of me. This one I picked up because I was hoping this was going to be a better version of a book called Sea of Rust. This is a book I tried to read last year. It didn't do anything. But anyway, this seems to be about some sort of robot uprising. A robot, I've written here, murders its human charges. That's all I need to know. If you know anything about me, you know that I like aliens and robots. The only thing I'm scared of, though, is because this has a red flag word for me. It was described as humorous in the summary, and that's a red flag for me usually. But maybe it's not going to be annoying. Maybe it won't be that same snarky Western tone that people seem to think is funny or whatever. We'll see. Then before we get to the book that I'm most excited for, I'm going to quickly tell you about Floating Hotel, and this comes out in March. This is apparently a cozy science fiction. Sign me up. I'm in. See you in March. Then also Steal the Stars, and this comes out in February, just in time for Valentine's Day. And this is going to be a sci-fi romance by Anna Guerre. Maybe another favorite from Anna Guerre this year. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know. And then finally, the science fiction book I'm most excited for the first half of this year. This one comes out in June, so it's going to be a long wait for me. And this is called The Stardust Grail. And this is apparently about a former art thief of some sort who deals with alien artifacts, who has to come out of retirement for one last job. I am so excited for this because I spoke about red flag words in the Adrian Tchaikovsky. These are my green flag words. The summary and blurb and synopsis had these words and phrases, and that got me. Okay, it had anthropology. She's an anthropology graduate student. It had alien artifacts. Love that. And then it had the phrase breakneck quest through a universe teeming with strange life and ancient ruins. Written for me. This book was written for me. I haven't read it yet, but it was written for me. I'm so excited. You have no idea how excited I am for that book. That sounds so good. That's just right up my alley. It's got everything I want. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The Stardust Grail. Wow. Okay, let's move on to the Afrolit section. When it comes to literature in general, I like speculative fiction, and that is difficult for me to find speculative fiction when it comes to African books, because a lot of the books that get released, that get published, are sort of contemporary, magical realism, political satire, very serious things for serious people. I am not a serious person. I am a robot and aliens kind of gal, you know what I mean? So with that in mind, these are the books that piqued my interest. The Incredible Dreams of Garba Dacascos. House. And this comes out in May. The story is apparently a quest for a book. Seems like it may have some philosophical musings and like existential themes. Sometimes I like that stuff. It depends. The sort of nebulousness of the summary and synopsis that I read was giving me weird fiction vibes, but that was also like an orange flag because I found usually I'm a plot girl. I love a good plot, I love a good premise. I found usually if book summaries or synopses are that nebulous and unclear, it means there isn't really that strong of a plot, or it can be like in a weird fiction way where the plot is very simple but everything else is weird and interesting and creative. I hope it's that. Oh my god, we'll see. Then we have How to Make a Space Masquerade, and this is a short story collection. I try and read an African short story collection, speculative fiction short story collection every year. Last year, it was The Intruders by a South African author, which I loved. I gave that one 4 stars. Hope this is as good or better. Then The Djinn Waits 100 Years, and this is from a South African author. And this is one of the books I'm probably going to read for South African Women's Day. I did that last year as well. This might be one of those books. And this is apparently, I've written here, gothic mystery paranormal horror. I am scared. Okay, this is a wild card book because I'm not into that stuff. From what I gather about those books, they seem like they're more vibes based than anything else. Like, do I have the patience to read about a house crumbling and creaking and like, oh my god, is there a ghost? And that's another thing. I don't like believe in ghosts and stuff, so I don't tend to find them scary. And I might be setting myself up here, but we'll see. That one comes out January 9th. An African History of Africa. This is a non-fiction and it's pretty self-explanatory. This is apparently African history from the beginning of time to post-independence. So it's, you know, very long-spanning book. My private hopes are that it is like just for Africans who want to learn about Africans. I don't care about like, you know, oh, there were this vast kingdoms and there was whatever and I don't care. I'm not interested in a book meant for assuaging an inferiority complex. I'm interested in a book that is just about African history. In the second half of the year, this doesn't have a specific month. This is another one that I'll be getting to for SA Women's Day, and this is The Creation of Half Broken People. And this is another gothic paranormal fiction. So that's scary. But this one is set in a museum of continental artifacts here in South Africa. Apparently, maybe they're haunted. Who knows? It's like a more horror or contemporary version of the, what is it called? The Stardust Grail, thematically. I don't know. This lineup is looking sketchy. 2 gothic fiction novels. Those are the 2 wildcard. But I think it's good sometimes to like go out of your comfort zone, you know? Like last year, there were some books that I read that are usually not books that I would read. And like they did something. Then The Reed Dance Stalker. This one is already out. Came out in October. And it's crime fiction about a serial killer. Like what else? What else do you need? Speaking of crime fiction, the last book I have here is Missing White Woman, and this one is coming out in April. And this one is about an Afro-US gal, she's African American, black American, on a romantic getaway who wakes up one morning to find a body in the house and her boyfriend is gone. That's so exciting. Those are the books. Obviously, again, my tastes lean towards more speculative fiction and whatnot. But if you like contemporary magical realism and you like, you know, hard-hitting topics and you like really serious books about sadness and stuff, then I will leave. Then I will leave the list that I got most of these African books from down below. And you can peruse, you can see some of the contemporary books that I skipped over. And fantasy, there are a lot of fantasy, there's a lot of African fantasy, mythology and stuff that I'm not interested in, but you know, I hope at least one of those books piqued your interest, or one of the books in the list down below if we don't have similar taste. I will see you, man. I'll see you in the next video. I don't know. And we'll see each other again to do another video like this in June or August or something. I don't know. Bye. Happy New Year.